It's all over. Dominik and Liv Morgan drops bombshell. It will shock you. Dominik Mysterio's recent attempt to make amends with Liv Morgan after her Women's World Championship defeat to Rhea Ripley has caught the attention of WWE officials and fans alike. This week's episode of Raw marked another twist in Mysterio's ongoing dynamic with Morgan and Ripley, particularly after his failed attempt to align with Ripley in the aftermath of the intense title match. In a pivotal moment from the show's Netflix debut, Liv Morgan squared off against the dominant Rhea Ripley with the Women's World Championship on the line. Despite Morgan's best efforts, she was ultimately defeated by Ripley, who delivered a commanding performance. Following the match, as Ripley celebrated her victory, Mysterio took an unexpected approach to handle the situation, further complicating the already tense relationships. Mysterio's previous attempt to align himself with Ripley following her victory led to a shocking response from Ripley herself. After Mysterio offered her a hug in a gesture of support, Ripley responded with a low blow followed by her signature Riptide maneuver. This shocking turn of events left fans in awe and set the stage for what seemed to be an awkward reconciliation attempt between Mysterio and Morgan. In an effort to smooth things over, Mysterio made a heartfelt move this week on Raw. He appeared backstage with a bouquet of roses and an apology aimed directly at Morgan.
If you love your father, then subscribe the channel, and those who love me show your love by liking and subscribing.
However, while Morgan voiced that she wasn't angry with Mysterio, her body language told a different story. Morgan's cold demeanor suggested that she wasn't ready to forgive him just yet, despite her verbal assurances. Instead of accepting his gesture, she responded by assigning him a series of tasks, making it clear that she had no immediate intention of embracing his apology. WWE's official Instagram account further highlighted the backstage exchange by posting footage of the interaction with a pointed message to fans. The brief but impactful video added fuel to the speculation surrounding Mysterio's evolving role within the company and his troubled relationships with both Morgan and Ripley. The footage demonstrated the growing tension between Mysterio and Morgan, and it seems that WWE is keen to keep fans engaged with the complex storyline. The root of this tension can be traced back to Mysterio's controversial decision to support Ripley in the aftermath of Morgan's championship loss. While it seemed like a well-intentioned gesture at first, Mysterio's attempt to ingratiate himself with Ripley quickly backfired. Ripley, who has maintained her position as a ruthless and dominant champion, reacted with aggression, leaving Mysterio stunned and sending a clear message that she would not tolerate such actions. Morgan, on the other hand, has been navigating her own journey following the loss. The defeat to Ripley not only cost her the title, but also placed her in an emotionally vulnerable position. Mysterio's attempts to mend fences with her were perhaps driven by guilt over his association with Ripley, but it's clear that Morgan is not ready to let go of the feelings stirred by the loss and Mysterio's questionable choices. WWE's handling of the situation seems to be shaping Mysterio's character arc, furthering his involvement in the ongoing drama between the two women. While it remains to be seen whether Mysterio will continue to try to win back Morgan's favor or if he will align more closely with Ripley, one thing is certain. This storyline is far from over. Fans are eagerly watching as WWE officials continue to develop the intricate relationships between Dominik Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley. The tension between the characters, paired with the uncertainty surrounding Mysterio's next move, promises to keep audiences on the edge of their seats as Raw continues to unfold. What's clear is that Mysterio's actions will likely continue to play a pivotal role in the storylines surrounding Morgan and Ripley in the coming weeks. Vince Russo critiques Rhea Ripley's match presentation against Liv Morgan. Former WWE writer Vince Russo recently voiced his opinions on Rhea Ripley's portrayal in her championship match against Liv Morgan on Raw's Netflix premiere. Speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, Russo expresses concerns about Ripley's in-ring presentation, drawing comparisons to WWE Hall of Famer Chyna and questioning whether WWE is showcasing Ripley's power to its fullest potential. Russo's criticism centered around Ripley's performance during her match with Morgan, particularly focusing on the extent to which Ripley was made to sell for her opponent. Selling in wrestling refers to the way a wrestler responds to moves and attacks, making the action appear real and building the emotional connection for fans. According to Russo, Ripley's selling of Morgan's moves was overdone and did not match the strength and dominance fans have come to associate with Ripley's character. "I just gotta tell you, Chris, I just think they make Rhea Ripley sell way too much," Russo said during the segment. He emphasized that, in his opinion, Ripley's in-ring portrayal does not fully reflect the strength and athleticism she possesses. This criticism was further reinforced by his comparison to Chyna, a trailblazing WWE superstar known for her dominant physicality. Russo noted that Chyna would never have sold for an opponent in the same way, believing that this was a key factor in Chyna's immense popularity and strong character presentation. The comparison between Ripley and Chyna highlights the differences in their respective approaches to in-ring storytelling. Chyna, who was often portrayed as a physically dominant figure in WWE, rarely appeared vulnerable in matches. She would overpower her opponents, regardless of their size, establishing herself as an unshakable force in the women's division. According to Russo, Ripley should embrace a similar approach, allowing her natural strength to shine through without being overly diminished by the act of selling. Additionally, Russo pointed out that in the match, Ripley was being tossed around by Morgan, who is much shorter in stature. Russo felt that Ripley's superior size and strength should have been emphasized more, allowing her to maintain a commanding presence throughout the match. He seemed to believe that this portrayal would have made Ripley appear more dominant and, by extension, would have strengthened her connection with the audience. This critique has sparked considerable conversation within the wrestling community, as fans and analysts alike debate whether WWE's creative direction for Ripley is achieving the desired impact. Russo's comment suggests that WWE may be underutilizing Ripley's potential as a dominant force within the women's division, which could impact her long-term character development and credibility as champion. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan's next steps following the match remain unclear. While her rivalry with Ripley has been a focal point in the women's division, the aftermath of this match could potentially alter the trajectory of Morgan's character. Given the uncertainty surrounding her relationship with Dominik Mysterio, the direction of Morgan's storyline remains a hot topic. With Ripley continuing her reign as champion, it will be interesting to see how Morgan's next moves unfold, both within her personal storylines and in her future title pursuits.
If you love your father, then subscribe the channel, and those who love me show your love by liking and subscribing.